Here's what most drivers never realize. Almost all of this is legal to own, and every piece of it still feels like it shouldn't be on Amazon. These are the gadgets that record the traffic stop, tell you where the cameras are, warn you the second a police radar goes live, and find what someone stuck to your own car. One's a little orange device that speaks your car's secret language. Another sweeps your bumper for a hidden tracker. Real prices? Every link below. Let's drive. The moment a stop goes sideways, the only calm, neutral witness in the whole car is a camera that was already rolling before anyone said a word. Most dash cams watch the road and nothing else, which quietly misses half the story. This one runs 3 lenses at once, the road ahead in sharp 4K, the cabin through infrared that sees in full dark, and the traffic behind you, so the road, your hands on the wheel, and whoever walks up to the window all land on the same time-stamped clip. It keeps filming while the car sits, parked, saves everything to a memory card you own outright with nothing to pay monthly, and takes spoken commands so you never fish around for a button at the worst possible moment. It runs about $200, and it's the quiet insurance policy you completely forget about until the one afternoon it calmly settles an argument in your favor. A dealership plugs a pricey tool into a little port under your dash and then charges you to read what your own car already knew for free. For $140, this plugs into that exact same port and hands the whole story straight to your phone. It reads the check engine code and clears it, shows live numbers, the gauges on your dash never print, and on a lot of cars it reaches deeper than any other wireless scanner on the market, waking up systems the cheap readers simply can't touch. It goes to sleep the second the engine is off, so it never quietly flattens your battery overnight, and it works with hundreds of different apps. Owned by more people than almost anything else here, it turns that mystery light glowing on your dash into a plain, readable sentence you can actually do something about instead of a nervous guess and a blank check at the shop. Modern car theft doesn't need your key anymore, just a signal booster and a few quiet seconds spent standing on your driveway. Thieves loiter near the house, catch the sleepy little chirp, your key fob leaks through the wall, stretch that signal out to the car in the drive, and roll it away without ever touching a thing. This pouch, sold straight from SLNT rather than Amazon, is lined with a fine metal mesh that swallows that signal whole. Drop the fob inside and the car simply cannot hear it calling. Pull it back out in the morning and everything works exactly as normal. No fuss. It's $22, it needs no battery and no setup, and it quietly shuts a wide open door that most people have no idea their own car has been leaving standing every single night. Ever really stop to think about how you get out if the door's jammed and the water was climbing past the sill? Power windows won't drop underwater and electric locks quit the instant they get wet, which is the exact moment you need them most. Each of these little tools hides a spring-loaded steel tip that shatters a side window with one firm press, no wind-up, and no swing, plus a hooked blade tucked underneath that saws through a C's seatbelt in about a second. The 4-pack is the whole point, one in every door pocket, so whoever happens to be closest can get everybody out, not just the driver up front. The full set is $20, which is next to nothing set against the single scenario where it's the only thing in the car that matters at all. Locking your only key inside the car, on a cold night, miles from anywhere, is the kind of small disaster that a $10 part quietly erases before it ever happens. This is a slim magnetic box that clamps hard onto steel somewhere under the frame, well out of sight and sealed up tight against rain, road spray, and snow. A real metal key rides in there, not a flimsy plastic copy of a fob, so a $100 locksmith call at midnight becomes a 10-second reach up under the bumper instead. The magnet grips through potholes, highway speed, and a run through the car wash without ever working loose. It's easily the least exciting thing on this whole list, and on exactly the wrong night, it's the one you'll be most quietly grateful you bothered to buy. What if the dashboard warns you about the red light camera a full 2 blocks before you ever reach the line? This is a plain, honest Navigator that happens to carry a map of where those fixed cameras and known speed traps sit, so it speaks up in time for you to simply ease off and drive it right. It's just a database of camera locations, which is why it rides on the windshield without a second thought, quietly flagging the spots where a lapse gets expensive. The bright screen is easy on older eyes, the menus stay refreshingly simple, and live traffic reroutes you around the jam ahead. At $130, it's the calm co-pilot that keeps an honest driver from rolling straight into an ambush that neither of you ever saw coming. Here's the flaw buried in an ordinary dashcam. The proof lives on a little card inside the car, and a card can be taken, lost, or quietly wiped clean. This one carries its own cellular connection and pushes the footage straight up to the cloud as it films, so the clip is safe on a server the very second it happens. Nobody makes it disappear by grabbing the camera off the glass. It watches the road and the cabin together, streams live to your phone from anywhere on Earth, and keeps standing guard over the car long after you've walked away and parked it. Figure around $290 with the storage and the power kit included in the box. For the kind of footage that genuinely has to survive the exact moment it captured, honestly, nothing else on this list even comes close. A thief walking a dark parking lot is really just doing quiet math, and the sum is dead simple: which car here costs him the least trouble? A bright steel bar locked hard across the wheel answers that question for him instantly, and he drifts on to the easier one 2 spaces down. This is the original, the $57 one that has outlived every clever high-tech gadget built to replace it, because a determined pair of bolt cutters meets a hardened steel core and a lock that shrugs off picking. It throws onto the wheel in seconds and pops right off just as fast when the car is actually yours. It never needs charging, never needs an app, and never needs a signal. And 30 solid years of thieves choosing the next car over is the only review it has ever needed. The check engine light flicks on, and before a shop has even had the chance to quote you $200, this little tool has already told you whether it's a loose gas cap or something that genuinely matters. It works 2 different ways: a screen right in your hand or over Bluetooth to your phone, and it reads codes, clears them, tests how healthy the battery really is, and tracks how the car is actually driving. Right now it's $60, marked down a clean 20 from 80, which is a genuine deal for a code reader this capable. It quietly turns the drive to the mechanic from a blind, nervous gamble into a conversation where, for once in your life, you already know the answer before he's even wiped his hands and opened his mouth. How would you even know if someone had slipped a live microphone or a hidden tracker into your car? You wouldn't not without something that can hear the things your own ears simply can't. This professional-grade detector, sold direct by Spy Center instead of Amazon, sweeps the cabin for the faint radio signals that bugs, hidden cameras, and trackers all quietly give off, then walks you closer with a rising tone until you're holding the thing itself in your hand. Investigators and business owners who truly can't afford to be listened to keep one tucked in the glove box. It's $230, which is a serious tool at a serious price, and it finally answers a question most drivers never even think to ask about their own front seat. Two ends of your car are forever getting you into trouble: the front, where you might wrongly get the blame, and the rear, where you get rear-ended by someone glued to their phone. This covers both at the same time. It films the road ahead in crisp 4K and the traffic behind in sharp detail, both saving together, so a you-hit-me argument ends the exact second you play back who actually did what. It's $120 right now, a clean $40 off, which quietly makes a full 2-camera setup cost less than most people pay for a single one. Night vision keeps license plates readable long after dark, and it stands watch over the car while it's parked. For a first dash cam that covers you front and back without draining the bank account, this is the easy, obvious pick. This is the one I promised you right at the start. The little gadget that finds whatever someone may have quietly hidden on your own car, who might actually have a reason to know everywhere you go. A jealous ex, a suspicious business partner, a lender you're behind with, and a $20 GPS tracker the size of a matchbox, magnetic and dead simple, can be stuck to your wheel well in the time it takes to tie a shoe. Run this along the underside and the seams of the car, and it lights up the instant it catches the radio signal. A live tracker leaks, so you actually find the thing instead of just quietly wondering about it. It also sniffs out hidden cameras and microphones in a rental or a hotel room. At just $40, it turns a creeping, sleepless suspicion into something you can finally walk outside and settle for good. Your glove box is not a safe. It's a thin plastic flap that a screwdriver pops open in about a second, and every smash and grab thief alive knows it cold. This is a real steel lockbox with a braided cable you loop tight around a seat frame, so the passport, the cash, or the valuables you'd rather a smashed window never reach don't just ride around loose in a drawer. Anyone can flip. It bolts nowhere and installs nowhere. You simply cable it to something solid and turn the key. Priced at $52, it's the whole difference between valuables that vanish through one broken window and valuables that stay put while the thief gives up and bolts empty-handed. Simple, heavy, and quietly reassuring on a long trip through places you don't know. Your key resting on the hall table sits far closer to the driveway than you'd ever think, close enough for a relay box out on the porch to catch its signal straight through the wall and clone your car in the dark. This little kit shuts that whole trick down at home. A lined box for the entryway that swallows the fob signal, plus 2 slim pouches for pockets and travel. Drop the keys in the second you walk through the door and the car goes stone deaf to anyone standing outside it. It's $23 for the whole set, blocks tap to pay cards and ID chips while it's at it, and it's easily the cheapest way going to close the exact hole that lets a modern car get stolen off your own drive without so much as a scratch on the paint. This is the original car escape tool, the one every cheap copy on the shelf is quietly chasing, and it flat out earns the name. Sold straight from Lifehammer, it does 2 life or death jobs without you having to think at all. A spring-loaded tip that cracks a side window with a single press, even when your hands are shaking hard, and a shielded blade that slices clean through a jammed seatbelt. The real trick is the bracket it mounts within easy arm's reach, instead of vanishing under a seat. Because a rescue tool you can't physically grab in 2 seconds isn't really a rescue tool at all. It's about $25. You will very likely go your whole life and never once need it, and on the single day you do, it's the only thing in the entire car that counts for anything. Here's the one that feels the most like contraband and is legal to run in a passenger car in almost every state, the classic radar detector. The Cobra Rad 480i listens for the radar and laser. A speed gun throws out, front and rear, and gives you a calm heads up while there's still time to glance down and make sure your own foot is being honest. Smart filtering has quietly fixed the old problem these had, where every automatic door and blind spot sensor set them screaming for nothing, so now it only speaks when it actually matters. It pairs to your phone for live, crowdsourced alerts from other drivers up the road too. Around $100 and more than 10,000 reviews deep, it's the gadget that's practically the mascot of this whole feels illegal list. Here's exactly how a modern car gets stolen without a single broken window. A thief quietly pops the trim, reaches the diagnostic port tucked under your dash, plugs in a cloning box, and programs a brand new key in a couple of minutes flat. On a lot of newer models, that port is the softest way in there is, and the crews who do this for a living know every one by heart. This little carbon fiber lock caps that port and takes a key of its own to come off, so the fastest quiet theft going runs face first into a wall. It installs in seconds with nothing to wire and stays completely invisible until someone who shouldn't be there goes fishing for it. At $35 against a method most drivers have never even heard of, that's a remarkable amount of protection. Genuinely, the gadget the thieves themselves most wish you hadn't bought. When a ticket flatly claims you were doing 45, what proof do you actually have that you were only doing 38? This little unit floats your true speed right up onto the windshield, dead in your line of sight, pulled straight from the satellites overhead rather than your car's own slightly optimistic gauge. It sets up in about a minute, give it power, sit it on the dash, and it flags you the very instant you drift over, a limit you've set yourself, which keeps an honest foot staying honest. For an older driver, especially, keeping your eyes level with the road instead of dropping them to the cluster is worth more than the number itself, and it dims at night so it never glares. It costs $30, and it quietly makes you the driver who simply, provably, wasn't the one speeding. This one hides in plain sight as the ordinary phone charger sitting in your cup holder, and that's the genuinely clever part. The tool you can actually reach in a crisis is the one that's always right there under your hand. Pull it out of its little dock and a spring-loaded tip snaps out to break a side window, with a hidden blade tucked into the base to cut a jammed seatbelt. The rest of the time, it just quietly charges 2 phones at once off the 12-volt socket, so it earns its spot in the console every single day instead of gathering dust. It's $39, and unlike a safety hammer buried somewhere in the trunk, you'll never reach upside down in a ditch. This sits a hands grab from the driver, a genuine escape tool disguised as the most ordinary object in the whole car. And here's the little orange device I teased right at the very start, the one that quietly speaks your car's secret language. Sold straight from Flipper, it's a pocket-sized multi-tool for all the invisible signals humming around you and on your own vehicle that opens some genuinely eye-opening doors. It can read and test the radio your key fob uses, listen to the sensors buried in your tires, and poke at the low-level signals a car broadcasts quietly all day long without ever telling you. Owners use it to actually understand and troubleshoot gear that is honestly legally theirs, and the same curiosity that makes it look faintly forbidden is really the whole appeal of the thing. It's $169, it clips onto a keyring, and it turns the silent ocean of radio traffic your car swims through into something you can finally see. Bravo Gadgets couldn't build a list this long and leave it on the shelf. The best hidden dashcam in any car is the one that just looks like a part of the car it quietly replaced. This slides right over your rear view mirror and takes its place completely, filming the road ahead in 4K and the traffic behind through a second camera, all on a screen that reads like an ordinary mirror right up until the moment you actually need it. It doubles as a crisp backup camera the second you drop into reverse, sees clearly deep into the night, and keeps watch over the car while it's parked. Nothing dangles off the windshield to announce it's there or to tempt a passing thief into smashing a window for the gadget itself. At $150, it's the pick for anyone who wants full front and back coverage, hiding in plain sight as the very mirror you already glance at 100 times a drive. Long before a traffic app catches up, the people who actually work the roads are already talking about the pileup, the closure, the deer on the interstate, and this little handheld lets you simply listen in. The Uniden SR30C sweeps 500 channels of police, fire, EMS, racing, and marine chatter, and its close call feature snaps instantly onto whatever's transmitting strongest right near you. It's perfectly legal to own and to listen to across the country, the same way a weather radio is, and truckers and storm watchers have leaned on one for decades. It runs about $130, takes a set of AA batteries, and turns the wall of static most people never think about into the earliest, most honest traffic report you'll ever get. A dashcam covers the road, but the moment you actually step out of the car, its whole story ends right there at the door. This tiny camera clips onto a shirt or a jacket and picks the story right back up, recording in clean 1080 and seeing in the dark clip it on before you roll the window down, and the entire encounter is on the record from the first word. Filming an officer doing their job out in public is legal in every single state, and a calm, complete record of a roadside stop has quietly settled far more disputes than it has ever started. It runs a flat $27, holds hours on a memory card, and rides so light you honestly forget it's clipped on. Delivery drivers and night shift workers lean on the same little camera for the same simple reason. It's the plain difference between he said, she said, and just pressing play. Did you know your phone keeps quietly whispering to cell towers even with the screen gone black and the thing supposedly switched off? Law enforcement and forensics teams carry these exact bags to freeze a seized phone so it can't be tracked or wiped clean, and you can carry one for the very same reason, just in reverse. Slide your phone inside and it goes genuinely dark. No signal in, no location out, no app quietly logging every road you drove today and selling the map of it. It's built tough enough to live in a glove box for years and swallows a full tablet too. The 2-pack is $48. When you want to be truly unreachable and untraceable for an hour or two, this is the one switch that actually does it. No setting to trust, no software to believe, just a bag that physically works. Some things you own are genuinely worth watching in real time. The teenager's first car, the work trailer that keeps wandering off, the classic you only trust out on a clear day. This tracker, sold direct by Spy Associates, is the live version of that peace of mind. It doesn't just quietly log where a vehicle has been, it shows you where it is right now, moving on a map on your phone, updating as it rolls down the road. It's magnetic and small enough to vanish under a frame, so it slips out of sight and reports back for as long as you care to run it. Reserve it strictly for what is honestly, plainly yours, and it's a powerful, perfectly legal extra set of eyes. Figure about $130. For the moment something valuable leaves without you, this is the head start that actually gets it back before the trail goes cold. Standing on the dark shoulder of a highway with a dead car is quietly one of the most dangerous places a driver ever ends up, and a couple of these change the odds in your favor fast. They're bright magnetic discs that slap onto the roof or drop right onto the asphalt and pulse a hard, wide light a passing driver picks up from a mile off long before your dark car itself ever resolves out of the night. There's no open flame like the old highway flares, so they're safe to set down near a fuel leak, they recharge instead of burning up, and several flash patterns let you wave traffic around a hazard. The 3-pack is $28. They even float to mark a flooded road, and they store flat in a door pocket for years. When you're stranded out there in the dark, being seen early is the entire game. This is easily the most notorious thing on the list, a spray that promises to turn your own license plate into a bright white blur the instant a camera flash hits it, while staying perfectly readable to the eye. Sold direct rather than through Amazon, it goes on like a clear coat and leans on a high gloss, reflective finish to bounce a red light or speed camera flash straight back and blow out the shot. It's the definition of a gadget that feels one full notch past legal, which is exactly why people have been fascinated by it for 20 years. It runs about $30 a can. Whether it earns its reputation is its own long-running argument, but nothing else here so perfectly fits a list of things that feel like they shouldn't exist. If your car quietly rolled out of the driveway tonight, could you honestly say where it was sitting an hour later? For under $30, you could. This is a rugged, waterproof holder built for exactly one job, hiding a coin-sized tracker somewhere on your car and keeping it locked right there. An oversized magnet grips a steel seam hard enough to survive the highway at speed, and it screws shut so weather never once creeps in to kill the battery early. Tucked up under the frame, it turns any little tag you probably already own into a quiet homing beacon nobody thinks to go looking for. It's $28 for the pair, and it's the whole difference between reporting a car simply and hopelessly gone and telling the tow yard the exact numbered lot it's parked in right now. The single cheapest deterrent on this whole list does absolutely nothing at all, and that is genuinely the entire point of it. It's a fake camera with a small red light that blinks, and a thief peering into a parked car has no earthly way to tell it apart from the real $400 rigs sitting a few entries up this very list. Stick it to the glass, and that steady blinking red dot alone is very often enough to make someone quietly testing door handles down the row decide yours is the wrong car to bother with tonight. There's nothing to charge and nothing to set up. A hidden battery keeps the light winking for months. For about $10, it buys the whole look of being watched without a cent of the cost. And paired with a real camera hidden elsewhere, you've got the loud threat out front and the quiet proof out of sight. We'll close on the one that turns your phone into the tool the dealer quietly swears you're not supposed to have. What if the settings the factory switched off were actually yours to switch back on? Sold straight from OBD11, this plugs into that same port under the dash and reaches deep into your own car's computer reading faults. Yes, but also flipping on features the maker left hidden and disabled, the kind of dealer-level control that normally lives locked behind a service counter and an hourly rate. On a car you already own, it is completely fair game, and drivers use it to make a vehicle they've fully paid for finally behave the way they wanted from day one. It comes in around $100. It's the fitting last word for a list like this. A perfectly legal key to a door most drivers never once knew their own car quietly had. That's the whole run, almost all of it perfectly legal to own, and every last piece of it easy to get your hands on. Links and honest prices are sitting right down in the description. If this was useful, subscribe to Bravo Gadgets, because there's a fresh list like this one every few days. And tell me in the comments which one you're actually putting in your car first.